Every time you buy a popcorn combo at the movies, you're paying a markup north of 85%. That's not new information. We know that's a joke. Everybody knows that. But here's the part that actually explains the entire business. Concessions only make up about 20% of a movie theater's total revenue. Just 20%. And yet, according to research out of Stanford's business school, that 20% generates roughly 40% of the theater's total profit. So today I've got 3 different concepts that can make movie theaters a lot more profitable immediately. Some of these have been halfway tried and some haven't been heard of. Let's break down how I'd run this. Okay, so here's a mechanic nobody explains to you at the box office. When you buy an $11 movie ticket, the theater does not keep $11. On a brand new release, in its first 2 weeks, the studio takes up to 80, sometimes even 90% of that ticket price. The theater is left with pennies. It only starts to even out something like 50-50 split in the weeks after, once the movie's completely cooled off. Meanwhile, on every dollar of concessions, the movie theater keeps effectively all of it. No studio, no distributor, no split. That's why a medium popcorn that costs about $1 to make gets sold for $8. And why nobody at the counter is embarrassed about it. Here's one number to remember. Despite all of that markup, despite the 85% margins, the average movie theater's overall profit margin is still around 4%. That's a business run on a knife's edge. It's propped up entirely by snacks because the actual core product, the movie, is basically a break even by design. So that's the disease. Now here's where it actually shows up in people's lives. So you paid $11 for a ticket. You paid another $16 on average for a drink and something to eat. That's the real number. A recent survey put average concession spend per person at over $16, more than a ticket itself. And I know that drives people crazy. And after all of that, you still sit through 15 to 20 minutes of ads. I took my kids to the movies and they were literally asking me, Dad, when is the movie gonna start? And I had to tell them, eventually, right? You're not just watching a movie. You're paying $20 to watch a commercial break with a bucket of popcorn in your lap. And here's the part that should actually bother people running these companies. Most of the building is empty most of the time. AMC's own CEO has admitted in public on record that the industry only sells around 15% of its total ticket capacity. 15%. That means out of 100 seats, 15 of them will be filled, which is insane. That means on a random Tuesday afternoon, an auditorium built for 300 people might have 20 in it. And to be clear, that's not a marketing problem. That's an inventory problem. And when I look at the industry sitting on 85% unused inventory every single day, I don't see a company that needs a better ad campaign. I see a company that really hasn't figured out what else it could be selling into that empty space. Okay, so here's what I'd actually do. Move 1 is to build a real family night around new releases. Right now, when Pixar or DreamWorks drops a movie, families make one decision. Do we go and win? I turn that into a standing event. For $50, a family gets tickets to a movie, a themed toy tied to the release, and a food package built for kids. All of it is bundled into one purchase, and you market it as a night out that you really plan around, not a spur-of-the-moment errand kind of thing. See, these pieces already exist separately. Cinemark has their own bundle they've done with certain movies like Hunger Games, like $40. Fandango has done exclusive toy merchandise bundles tied to ticket purchases for the movies like the new Toy Story. And Regal already has priced adult tickets at children rates for family ticket programs. Nobody's packaged all 3 of these together, but a predictable recurring product would. And see, the value to the movie theater isn't just the $50. It's the families will plan their month around it, the same way they plan around kids' birthday party. That's the opposite of unpredictable movie by movie theater demand theaters currently live by. Now, my second move will be to sell the empty seats to sports fans. This is already working. It's been run in a small, quiet way. AMC piloted this back in 2019. They took a live out-of-market NFL game, put it on a big screen in 40 locations. They charged $0 for admission, right? And they had a required $10 food and beverage charge. That's perfect. Cinemark did the same thing with ESPN for the college football playoff. AMC even got wired into an Olympics deal. In the UK, View and Cineworld have been putting on Champions League and World Cup matches on their screens for years. Now, the reason it's structured as a $10 concession card instead of a ticket isn't an accident. It's a workaround. Leagues like the NFL guard their broadcast and retransmissions rights fiercely. And charging to get into that at the movie theater would be unlicensed broadcasting or rebroadcasting. Charging for concessions and giving that seat away for free sidesteps that entirely. I'd scale this on purpose. not one pilot game a year, a standing Sunday and a weeknight program in a dead afternoon slots where 15% capacity lives, turning dead inventory into a sports bar with better sound, bigger screens than any sports bar can provide. Now the third move, this is bringing it all together. Selling all access subscription that bundles everything. Movie subscriptions do already exist. You got AMC's A-List, runs about $20 a month depending on where you are. Regal Unlimited is really in a similar range. Cinemark's is cheaper, but it's less. You get that one movie a month. The 20% off concessions is decent. All of these subscriptions are okay, but they don't offer nearly enough to have as many people as they could. Nobody's selling access to Sports Nights. Nobody's selling access to family bundles. Nobody has built their tier where it's $50 or $100 a month that really gets you into the movies, the game nights, and the family events. No, that's not a discount. That's a lifestyle subscription to do things this weekend. And think about if you're traveling, you could be in one city or state, go to another place, and then still use your subscription there. If you put all three of those together, you've taken a building that's 85% empty on most days and given it 3 separate recurring reasons to fill up. Okay, so let's keep this simple. One comparison, I'm not doing a whole spreadsheet. I'm gonna keep it real simple for you. Take a single 300-seat auditorium sitting empty on a weekend afternoon. Right now, that slot generates close to $0. It's part of that unsold 85%. Now run a sports play through it. Fill it just half capacity. 150 people for a big out-of-market game using the same model AMC already tested. No ticket charge, just a mandatory $10 concessions voucher, which most people are going to spend more than that. That's $1,500 of almost entire margin revenue. If a theater ran even one $50 family bundle night per week, filling this auditorium with 40 families, that's $2,000 in a single evening for a slot that will otherwise depend entirely on whatever movie happened to be new that week. Neither of those numbers are the whole business, but they're proof that the 15% utilization problem isn't a scheduling problem. It's a product problem. You just have to sell something other than movie tickets into the space movie tickets don't fill. Let's go bird's eye view. Look at it from a month perspective. One sports night a week at $1,500 and one family bundle night a week at $2,000, and you've added roughly $14,000 a month per auditorium on top of whatever that screen was already making from regular showings. You multiply that across every unused auditorium in a multiplex, and you're not talking about a side hustle anymore. You're talking about a second revenue engine running in parallel with the movie business, but entirely out of hours the building used to sit empty completely. Okay, so where does this actually work? The sports play only works because the leagues have allowed it in a very specific, narrow way. The no admissions charge, right? But if they said they want to stop that, they easily could, I'm sure of it. They have the lawyers, they have the money, and they can shut everything down in probably a couple weeks. It wouldn't be all that difficult. The family bundle is another risk, but it's a different type of risk. You could sort of cannibalize your customers. The families are probably already going to go, but if you give them this different rate and a whole different package, that could kind of switch things up. You would have to do some really good research here and planning out and strategizing to make sure that the bundle price for families is not something that kills what you would make if you sold everything separately. You want to give them a benefit because it's a subscription, yes, but I think if you price it too low, that's where you could lose a lot of money. The subscription problem to going to theaters with all of this stuff is that it only works at certain locations. So if I subscribe to AMC and I'm only by Cinemark theaters, I can't go to Cinemark. I can't go to Regal. If I have Regal, I can't go to AMC or Cinemark. And that's kind of the headache, which makes sense, obviously, but that's just another part of the problem. Movie theaters aren't a movie business with a snack problem. They're an empty building with the best sound system in your city, looking for an excuse to fill another room at 85%. So this is what I would do to change movie theaters. I'm curious to know what you would do to change movie theaters and make them more profitable. Let me know down in the comments below. Which company do you want me to take over next?